The pretty girl was confused. She was accustomed to attention, had been all her life. Flowers and turning heads, the perks and gifts from strange men. But this was different. Not at all like the nightclubs or at the beach. No one whistled, and few smiled, except for the women. There was a certain satisfaction in their smiles. The pretty girl recognized this. She remembered Saturday night, or at least parts of it. She had worn her red dress, that small red dress. The red dress that no other girl, in this town at least, could wear or would wear. It was that sort of dress. Not scandalous, just small. She had kept her hair down and wore no makeup. Never any makeup. The pretty girl needed none. She danced and drank and smoked, flirting, hugging, kissing most of the boys who came her way, until there were no more boys. Just a man with a broom, and all the lights were on. It was time to leave. So the pretty girl walked home, alone, as she always did, as it seemed to her she always would. One day I'll ask that man with the broom to dance, she thought, running on the warm sand. And if he refuses, I'll dance with his broom. Then, yelling into the night, and if the broom refuses, I'll die. And the night seemed to answer with a gust of wind that slipped under that red dress, enveloping the pretty girl, making her laugh. You can't die, the night seemed to say. We love you, pretty girl. Walking in deep foreign footprints to the water and back. This for her was the best part of a Saturday night. So familiar, so exhilarating. Lots of goosebumps and that saltwater smell. The dog that always barked, and the old woman who watched from her bedroom window, scowling, always scowling. Once the pretty girl waved and said hello, but the old woman just scowled back. Maybe it was all this old woman could do, she thought. Maybe she's God's scowler. And especially on nights like this, when heat had little need for the sun, the pretty girl would stop for a swim, stepping from the red dress, now just a red circle in the sand, submerging herself in the warm waters. How the ocean adored her. So nice to see you, the splashes seemed to say. How we missed you, and what can we do to make you happy? Such attention with nothing expected. The best part of a Saturday night. Then, stepping into the red circle, pulling up the small red dress, now transparent and finally scandalous, the pretty girl continued on her journey home, past that little bend and the giant rock where the waves were noisiest, where fishermen whistled and smiled and asked how she was doing tonight. You sure are pretty, they would say, wanting to at least say something more but never able to. Onto that private beach where she knew she shouldn't walk but always did, and up over that grassy knoll and into the loneliest stretch of her journey home. Now is when she'd usually sing. Some song, most likely some last request at the nightclub. Her last dance, the last dance, adding harmonies to a non-existent lead vocal as she turned up the road that led to the house where she lived. A small road, unpaved as many beachside roads seemed to be, lined with faded 3- and 4-room houses filled with the smells of last night's dinner and the echoes of heartbreak and age. Her house, once lime green, waited at the end of this block atop a small hill, a hill not high enough for views. Taking 3 steps onto the porch, the pretty girl opened the door, the old lock creaking, so rarely used. Then she stole one last look at the night. Once inside, she reached for the light switch that would turn on the room's solitary lamp, but she was grabbed from behind and thrown to the bare wood floor. The first kick was to her stomach. Please stop, the pretty girl cried. But the kicks continued to her head, her back, her chest. She tried to protect herself but couldn't from the dozens of legs kicking and as many voices screaming. Then something crashed down upon her leg. Not a fist, something harder. The pretty girl didn't know what it was. She was afraid to look. The object hit her leg again, but with more force. The next blow was to her side. Then came one to her arm. Then one to her head. This was all the pretty girl remembered about that night. And now she was here, uncomfortable, cold, very cold. She wanted to dance. She wanted to run and feel the sand at her feet. But those acts seemed inappropriate, at least at the moment. No one was whistling, and few smiled, except for the women. Why did the women smile so? The pretty girl was confused, and she felt tired. So suddenly tired. So eternally tired. Maybe she should rest, at least for a while.